This is the Conservative Czar, August 30th, 2012. I'm going to continue with some observations about the Republican convention. But this is going to be by far the most difficult video I've ever had to present. Difficult to give, difficult to think about the things that I'm going to have to talk about. We got to look, and we're getting a look at the future. And the future is not very good. And it centers, my point here centers around the speech that Paul Ryan gave. It was a good speech. It's no Sarah Palin, but it was a good speech talking about economics. He did well. He had substance, and he talked about it. It brought up good issues. Now remember that this convention is the most controlled convention in the history of conventions. And make no mistake about that. We got a tip of that when on the issue of Ron Paul. He was invited to speak, but they told him his speech would have to be approved ahead of time, and Paul said no, and then it wouldn't be my speech. And Ron Paul walked away. So that they are vetting every single speech, and they vetted Paul Ryan's speech. Paul Ryan is one of the most pro-life Catholic members of the United States Congress. On the issue of abortion, he is spot on. If this was Paul Ryan's speech, he would have at least talked about it for one sentence or two. That's the way it's been for 30 years. Republicans we'll get into this later, only have to talk a couple sentences, and that's enough. And Paul Ryan would certainly have done that. But this was not Paul Ryan's speech. This was Mitt Romney's speech. And Mitt Romney made it clear that you do not even talk about pro-life. Do not bring up the issues. That's the problem. It is clear to me that if Romney is elected president, the pro-life movement is politically done for. Politically, it is going to disappear from the face of American politics. We've already seen this, for example, on the gay marriage issue. Just 10 years ago, the polling was 10 or 15% in favor of same-sex marriage. Opposed to same-sex marriage. In 10 years, that disappeared because we would not talk about it. The politicians, they would pay lip service to it, but would make it a major issue. You can just see over the last 10 years, the less and less and less they talked about it. The other side didn't stop talking about it. The other side put on television shows supporting it. The other side would ridicule constantly any mention of marriage between a man and a woman. And the end result was that we have lost that issue. It's gone politically. Mitt Romney is going to do the same thing to the pro-life issue. He's not even going to marginalize it. It is going to disappear from political discourse. We made a deal 30 years ago that was a horrible, horrible deal. We made a deal with the Republican Party. We said, we'll vote for you, and you don't really have to talk about it. When we have a march, you don't even have to come to the march. Just say a few words, and we'll put it on a loudspeaker, and that will be good enough for us. But we will deliver the votes. And what that meant was the life issues were never presented in the political debate. We didn't have debates about abortion. For 30 years, we've had this deal, and it's gotten us where we are today. And Mitt Romney is going to take it one little step further. He wants our votes, and he's not going to say one word. Now he gets up there and speaks tonight. He might mention one line to the pro-life people, but that'll be it. That'll be it. Paul Ryan didn't even have one line. This is how marginalized this issue is going to get. And if it isn't in the forefront of political discussion, then what happens is exactly what happened on the gay marriage issue. We will be marginalized, our polls will go down, the other side will continuously, relentlessly attack us. If Mitt Romney is elected president, the pro-life movement in the political speech of this country will be gone. We can't recover from it. 4 years of Romney, 8 years of Romney, not talking about the issue. And these guys look, even Paul Ryan doesn't want to talk about the issue. They're uncomfortable with it. But we cannot survive without them talking about the issue. We must hold their feet to the fire or not vote for them. We don't have any other choice. This is the Conservative Czar. See you next time.